Morning, everyone. It is September 24th, 2017. We're here for our third Sammie's Planetary Synthesis event. Today, we're going to share some interesting things that have been occurring. I know it's been amping up for a while now, and it just seems to be amping up more and more as things are really accelerating. We're going to talk a little bit about what's been going on this past month from our perspective. And also, we're going to be talking about the October 10th, 2017 portal that's opening up. One of our really high vibe awesomeism individuals is really coming in strong for the last few days. So his presence is going to be very strong here. He came in, he's one of the first ones that came in for me when I put out the intention to do these monthly events. So he came in with the name of Srivan. He is, seems to be like a male counterpart to Sammie. And he has, he's been telling me he is one of 5 around the planet who is preparing to bring in the codes on the 10/10/2017 portal, and he needs some assistance aligning. The 5 of them need some assistance, so we're going to be incorporating that as well. So if we take a moment here and align ourselves, I like to do this always in the beginning because it kind of sets the energy for myself as well and my intention. And if you feel inspired to do so, you can obviously repeat the words to yourself as well. So in the name of the I Am, I call forth all aspects of my soul beingness. From the macroplasmic and microplasmic fields that I am, I align to source consciousness, the law of one, invite in the kids, or I know we call them kids, but some of them are adults. We call in our awesomeism or Autism Collective friends who are incarnated on the earth, and all those who are not incarnated. There are literally trillions of them in our universe. One of the things that they had shown me recently. So all the ones that are incarnated and not incarnated, we invite them all in. May all that I do be in alignment with each person's soul purpose here on the planet. Take with you what resonates for you and be neutral about what does not resonate for you today and in this moment. So take a deep breath. We're going to open up all channels of light that we have available to us, from the vertical, the horizontal, the diagonal fields that we are connected to. All is connected to source, the one. We engage our 15 chakra system and draw a plasma light fiber cord right through center of our head. It goes down through between our legs, and let's really ground to our earth star or the 12th chakra. From here, let's connect to the 144 crystalline grid of the earth. And expand that out to our solar system, connecting to the geometries of our solar system. Our Milky Way galaxy, Laniakea, our galactic cluster. Connect to our entire universe. And engaging the next harmonic universe, which is already becoming active and drawing a cord, an energy symbol that really aligns us to this next universe that we're, harmonic universe that we're transcending into. I'm going to invite the Autism Collective now to lock down this field that we're in. Engaging the 0-point field. So that anything that comes into our field that is not in alignment is instantly transmuted and processed through the 0-point field. One of the things that I wanted to do today was take a little bit of time to answer any questions that has come up. I know we're sharing some kind of mind-bending information that's not in the mainstream for the last couple of months. And if there's any clarifications that we can do, I thought we'd take a few minutes to do that. So, Carl, if you can unmute the lines and if you have questions. And if you don't have any questions, that's okay too.
Hi, this is Joanne.
Okay.
And I just wanted to know, with all this coming, how is the best way to support our children during these the 10-10, or will that be something that we are going to discuss today?
Yeah, that is something that we're going to discuss today. One of the things that, a couple of things that I think I can say that I would recommend that people do is, like in the last session, we did those accitonal lines and the vertical channels that are open to us, and also the horizontal access points. If you want to open that stream for your child, you can actually do that by squeezing each of the toes. So we did it with or their fingers, right? So those accitonal lines, like on the right hand, it was 3, 6, 9, 2, and 8. So let me write that down. So it was, oh, sorry, that's not it. Where's my, oops, the wrong one. So it was 3, 6, 9, 2, 8 on the right hand. And the left hand, or the left side, is 4, 7, 10, 1, 5. Okay. So you can either use their hands, and the intention is that by activating on your fingers, you are opening the channels that goes straight down. So they have a much more refined system. Yeah, much more refined. So that means they have these channels that are much more open to us. We've been focusing mainly on our chakra system, but they're much more refined. And so these accitonal lines and these vertical channels, that's much more natural to them from what Sammie is saying. So you can open those by keeping that flow going, and also the hara line. So the hara line is the one that goes through the center, and it's our connection to our soul, and also connection to the 15 chakra system. So by doing that, and you can, like I said, you can
Mm-hmm.
squeeze on their hands or their fingers, depending on which one seems to be more natural for them or more
You
comfortable.
said also the toes, right?
Yeah, you can use their toes or
Right.
their hand.
Right. Really interesting that Jacob is really looking for toe pressure the last few days, having us
Mm,
press on his toes, putting his toe, if he's in a swing, he puts his toes up against us. Really looking for
okay.
that right now.
Okay. I mean, I'm also getting the sense by him wanting that he's actually that pressure on the feet. He seems to be saying is he's like he's working really far out, and
Yes.
so he's trying to stay connected. And so um, part of what I'm getting is that he's having some anxiety about staying here because
Mm-hmm.
he works so far out. And so that pressure and even that kind of what they OTs call it proprioceptive input through the bottoms of
Yes.
the feet,
Mm-hmm.
feeling that pressure is helping him. Uh, it's like a reminder that he's here. He's still here. He's sort of needing
Mm-hmm.
that, wanting that reassurance.
Yes.
So, um, so yeah, that might help. Also, the grounding right now. Um, and there's some modalities where they say they need to be grounded to the earth,
Mm-hmm.
ground to that 12th chakra and the crystalline earth, because that the earth right now, there's so much old memories, painful memories
Mm.
that are coming up and surfacing that we don't want them to be connected to that necessarily, but by connecting to the crystalline earth and the multidimensional earth, that might feel actually more comfortable. But you
Mm-hmm.
just have to see and play with that.
Right. I think that he does feel most comfortable with that. And I think he's also being affected by all the earthquakes happening. And I think
Yes,
that's bringing to the surface a lot of the earth energy. And we're just working with transmuting that.
right, right. And engage the 0 point field.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so when you do those accidental line openings, and the right side being the masculine and the left sort of being the feminine, and when we bring those our palms together
Mm-hmm.
and in our heart, that's like the 0 point field. It's neutrality, is bringing all that information, even if it's painful and a lot of trauma and emotional anxiety on the planet. If we can bring that together, for yourself,
Right, right.
and bridge that together in the 0 point field and ask that it be transmuted in the 0 point field, because the 0 point field is also neutrality,
Mm.
where we're not charged emotionally with as being good or bad, and so that brings it to neutrality. So try those kind of.
Thank you, Susan. Thanks. Great.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions? One of the um, big events that I felt happening this past month is the intra and intercellular network really becoming more enhanced. So I know I've talked to a few people in the last couple of weeks who've been really experiencing other people much more intensely in your own body. So like when I go out, sometimes I can feel people's heads, the energy, how much is going on in their head, or it feels like I can feel their emotional state much more in a much more pronounced way. So when I asked Sammie what was happening, she said that it was the intra and intercellular network being enhanced. So we think of ourselves as mainly our neurology being connected in our body, and there are healers and modalities that recognize an intercellular network that's the cells are communicating. They would have to be, right? There's sort of an electromagnetic field of communication that's going on between the cells. So uh, So what's happening is that there's a much deeper cell-to-cell communication taking place. It's this part of sentient intelligence, omniscience, and omnipresence. The neurons are part of this network. So we think of a neurological system, but even the neurons as a cell is part of this other network of communication, sort of a neurobiology process that's going on. One of the reasons why it's becoming more enhanced, according to Sammie, is that the is-not spaces are really have opened up. We talked about the is-not space in during the last session, where it's like we've only been looking towards the light, but there's this black liquid light or black space that actually supports the realm of form. And so this is at the quantum level, at the subatomic level. So if you think of our DNA and RNA being these molecules and atoms at that atomic level, and now that a whole new space has opened up in a way that's really hasn't been available before, our very cells now are interconnected in a whole at a whole nother level. So this means that our organs are starting to come alive to their consciousness. One of the interesting pieces of work that I've done in the last couple of years was with a woman named Connie Kaplan. She has something called the invisible garment, and she describes it's based on your astrological chart, and it's a spiritual garment and these 30 principles that are woven into our spiritual beingness that then gives us our soul agreement here on the planet. And what she describes is that our bodies are a reflection or a cosmic body, and each organ has a function like the cosmic body that it is. So our organs are coming alive to really function as part of that cosmic body. And I can't go into detail about all of that today. And it's still some interesting insights that are coming in. So it also means that our endocrine system is also going to change and function in a new capacity. One of the things that Sammie actually showed us, I think maybe 2 or 3 months ago, was that the endocrine system was meant to function as if it was, so that the body is itself a neuron. And then we are connected to this whole network through the endocrine system as if we're a neuron ourselves. The body is a neuron. Sammie says, this was an interesting thing, and I wish I'd known this sooner, but she said she came in with a much more enhanced intercellular network, and intracellular meaning that it's within the cell. So we think of the fact that our cells even have these organelles, right? Nucleus, mitochondria, ribosomes, the cell wall. So even the communication within a cell is being enhanced. So she said that one of the reasons that she's more sensitive and becoming even more sensitive this year is this intercellular network, and that this intercellular electromagnetic system, which has a pattern of its own, has really not been resonating in alignment with the neurological system that the human has evolved to. So the two have not been a vibrational match. And so it's has given her a lot of difficulty with her motor control most of her life. And we've definitely noticed since January of this year that it's actually become more difficult and more challenging for her to move. About this part of omniscience and omnipresence, one of the most interesting things that Sammie had written to us, I think some of you know that we started doing rapid prompting method, RPM, last year. And sometime last fall, she spelled out on the letterboard for me about how she processes. She said, I process information using my omnipresence to totally align to source. And that was one of the most shocking things that that she has said. But it makes sense now that she experiences omnipresence because her entire cellular system is operating at a really different level. So if a lot of our kids are more sensitive this year, this could be part of the reason. And there's just a lot of physical changes happening to the human body as it is. Okay, so the 10-10-2017. What is this? I know, and so we all know that 10-10, probably a lot of you who are following a lot of these things know that 10-10, the 10 is usually a new beginning, the 1 and the 0, and 2017 also equals a 10. This is a very significant portal. It's significant for the whole planet, but and most of the people are going to be feeling something, especially the star seeds and people who are on this, who have been following this ascension path. But there are even a few of them within this awesomeism group that are even more refinedly have a bit more refined template in their soul matrix that is going to allow them to stream, I don't even want to say it, an emanation from original prime creator. So we're talking about how and why that is. It's a way of resetting us. We're all being reset in many different levels, but it's like saying that over the epochs and the different creation cycles, there have been distortions, with each sort of evolution. And so much so that we have not, we've not been aligned in a way that we were actually meant to be aligned. So this is a way of streaming directly to Prime Creator. So we're going to, in order to explain that, we can talk about prime numbers and Prime Creator. Now I want to reiterate that this is not dogma. This is not a new religion. The explanation is a perspective and a way for us, if it resonates for you, to have a new perspective and also then help us bridge from the way we have lived and what we've known and into the new. So I'm going to talk about it like a mythology, and mythology from the perspective, not a lie or an untruth, but from the perspective, if some of you are familiar with Joseph Campbell, that mythology meaning that it's a way of describing something that we cannot really understand, and it's not really the way it is, but it enables us to kind of grasp a parallel way of describing it. It's an analogy. So let me find my colors here. So I'm going to describe this in a sense that, so let's say this is formlessness. Okay, this is formless, just a formless one. And here is formlessness, and we're going to call that the zero. Okay, so in this formlessness, something stirred movement within it. Okay, somehow movement came to be within this formlessness. And we're going to say that this formlessness and these movements created, let's say, antiplasma. I'm going to just call it antiplasma and anti-emanation, because it hasn't emanated. Anti-emanation. Okay, so as this is going, and there's movement going, there's a sudden burst outward, and this is spirit. Okay, so it's like an emanation and an out-breath, an exhale, let's say. And with that out-breath, suddenly there's another in-breath, inhale. And on this inhale, then, now there's something that forms, let's say a sphere, right? And so it thinks, okay, so this is one then, okay. So now there's this sudden inhale, and it goes, wow, what just happened? And so it sends out another breath, let's say, okay, and that's still spirit, and another in-breath. And so now forms another sphere, okay? So now we have actually the two. This is actually prime creator. Prime creator is the two. So there's prime creator. Because now it sees itself. Yeah, that's the beauty of this, is that once there's two, now there's two to reflect back to each other. There comes a different level of awareness, all of a sudden, and a reflection of itself. So, one of the things that they want me to know, they want the audience to know, is that within this formlessness, all the attributes that are, let's say, created in this movement is love. So it's everything in that formlessness that is love. And also want to emphasize that even these forms that we see, these two new spheres, that is still formlessness. And this story actually came about, this awareness a couple of months ago from this, one of the kids, I think he's only a toddler, he's about 3 years old. He sort of took me on this journey and started showing me a different way of looking at this. So this is love. Everything that this formlessness is love. And form and formlessness, really, there's no difference. It sees itself the same way. Formlessness and form is the same thing, aspect to this evolution here. So I'm just going to take this out for a second, because now we have, so now that we have two, so the two, let's say, wonder what would happen if they joined together. So when they join together, 3 was created. So there's a third. This is 3. This is the monad. So when we look at the numbers, so there's the 2, there's the 3. Those are prime numbers. 2 and 3 starts the prime numbers. And I'll try and go explain a little bit about what prime numbers are so that you can get the full awareness of what the 2017 is even. So prime numbers means that there has to be two factors. So like 1, some people might think 1 is a prime number. No, it's not, because 1 is equal to 1 times 1. It's just itself. It's only one number. 2 begins the prime numbers because it's 1 times 2. That's what that means. It has to have 2 factors, the 1 and the 2. 3 is prime because this is 1 times 3, right? Only 2. 4 has 1, 2, and 3 as factors, because 2 times 2 is 4. Oh, I'm sorry. That's wrong. Oh, hang on one second. Got my eraser. One, 2, and 4. So 2 times 2 is 4. 1 times 4 is 2, and 2 times 2 is 4. So prime 4 is not prime. The next number is 5. It's prime. And then the number after that is 7, right? Because only 1 times 7 can be 7. 5 times 1 can be 5. So 11 and 13, and then 17 is prime. And it goes on. There's many more numbers. So if you remember from, if you joined us in July, we talked a little bit about the 7/17/2017 and what happened then. Well, the 17 is the 7th prime number. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 is the 7th prime. And if you remember, Sammie had told me a few months ago, she's from the 7th heaven. It's like the 7th octave of this universal, of these, well, of our universe, which has 7 octaves in it. So they're from like the highest level of the octaves of our universe. So then if we look at that number, 10, 10, 2017, it takes on a whole different kind of meaning here now, doesn't it? Because, yeah, the 10 is marks new beginning, right? One and 0 here. And then the 2017 adds up to a 10, but individually also, the 2 is a prime number, 0 going back to the original source, and the 17 is a prime number. And even the whole number 2017 is a prime number. I looked that up. So some might think, well, 19 is a prime number. So is 2019 also a prime number? No, it's not actually. When I looked it up, it has another 2 other factors in it, 2 other numbers that can add up to 2019. So this is a very big event here that's going to take place. So let's look at what are portals then, because I've been, been doing these things, right? 11, 11, 11, 12, 12, 12. These portals are opening up. Well, what in the world is a portal? So this is the description that I got. So imagine that everything that is in form is created by an underlying geometry. Oh, that's reminds me of one thing too. About the geometries. Hang on one second. Let's look at those 3 here again, the 3. So once we had the 3, the monad, now we see that this is the formation of the first geometry. And why is that? It's because when you have 2, right? When you have just 2 lines, a 2, you can only make a line. But when you have 3, now you can make the first shape, the first geometry. And now we can make matrices, and creation, let's say, then exploded, exponentially grew out of that, because now we have a whole new, now there was a whole new way of creating. Okay, so getting back to portals, what Srivan showed me was that, imagine, like, okay, we're going to draw just this very simple geometry. I'm drawing 3 of them just to make an illustration. Okay, so when we have a portal, let's say this is an underlying geometry, the underlying geometries. So it might look like this, right? So here's the first portal. Okay, I'm gonna draw this over here like that. I can. So when we have a portal, this one here, okay, is when the portal, let's say, is not fully aligned. Okay, and this is the underlying geometry. Think of everything is in motion, right? Our universe, the galaxies, the stars, there's things in motion. And so the underlying geometries are kind of, it's like a kaleidoscope. The kaleidoscope is, shifting. There's new shapes and new patterns that are formed as these things move. And so this is the underlying geometry. This is when it's not open. So let's say this is a partial portal, because now this one geometry underneath aligned with this other geometry. Well, a portal, when you have a perfect one, is when they're all aligned and there's an opening now for certain cosmic information to come through, or just channels, the channels that are open becomes available. So everyone will experience, the planet will experience something big on this 10-10-10. But what they're also saying is that we have to look at the soul matrix and what we can receive. So one of the ways that I see soul in the last couple of years is that it's like a pattern or mandala itself. So I'm going to just write really simple. So let's say this is the average human, all right? And let's say this is their soul matrix, okay? So let's say that's one soul matrix. These are sort of the openings that are available, or interdimensional spaces is probably the right, more accurate term. Whereas, let's say someone who is more refined at a soul level, like some of the star seeds, actually has more fractalized patterns that they're carrying within, okay? So it's much more refined. We have more open spaces there. Now, there's a few, like our kids, it's very, very refined. They have a lot of fractal spaces, interdimensional spaces in their soul matrix, okay? That means you have access to a lot of information, okay? So 5 of the kids have a certain pattern within their soul matrix that allows them, that is perfectly aligned to this. So it's a small and narrow window, and they're working on aligning with that soul matrix. I mean, aligning with that portal opening that's coming in to stream a very, very refined, let's say, chord directly with Prime Creator. Okay, and this is actually how my connection with Sammie is I don't really channel. I connect with her at a soul to soul level, and we share many interdimensional spaces at the soul level. I don't know how this happened. I didn't do it intentionally, but this is what this is what's been happening. And so that's how we communicate at a soul to soul level. So, okay, thinking back to portals, and let me just double check. So that's what's happening, and we're going to be aligning, helping them to align to this portal. So one of the things that Srivan has been showing me that needs to happen is him and his group are trying to align to a particular quasar that's out in space. And I haven't read much about quasars in a while, but a quasar, from what I can recall, is they're like a bright star, but they're not really stars. And they seem to be, from what scientists can measure, they seem to be moving at a really, really high speed, and they can't away from us. So so a quasar, saying, is like they're blips and signals. This is what Srivan is saying. They're blips and signals that's connected to the omniversal, the omniversal time matrix. Wow, that's a new one. Hope I got that right. So beyond this universe and beyond our alpha and omega time matrix, sort of a time cycle within the omniverse. So he is, or even was, this quasar, depending on how you want to look at it. And there's 5 of them. We're going to be doing some energy work within the energy work to connect to this quasar. We're also going to align to Antares, which is the brightest star in the constellation Scorpio. Sirius B, the star Sirius B, is coming in. The seven sisters of the Pleiades. The seven sisters. Sorry. Okay. Of the Pleiades. Okay. All right. So I hope that's clear. If not, the recording will be up, and honestly, my mind can't grapple these things. It's only at a different level that we can process this information. So in this energy process, we're going to continue to build on the new neurology. That's what's going to assist us to allow us to activate this connection to Prime Creator. Trying to see if there's anything else. Okay. I'm just being asked to take a moment here. Yeah, they're asking me to breathe in. Everybody breathe. To take in the information that we just transpired. Our minds are working at grappling. So engage the bigger field of consciousness that we each are. I'm going to draw an energetic cord from the high heart, which is your thymic chakra around here, and also known as the 8th chakra. I'm going to draw an energy cord from there down to the lower Tantien, which is sort of like just below the navel, but behind the sacral chakra, sort of. To connect the information at a soul level. Okay. And then it's allowing us to engage the information in the what we would consider the physical aspect of our physical being. Right there in the lower pelvic area. So Srivan is also adding that the intestinal system, the gut, recognize that as the second brain. And the information is even being processed at that gut level, at the level of our second brain. So that we can feel that information, engage that omnipresence, that omniscient, sentient awareness that is coming online. Okay. We're going to get into the any energy process. So we've already been preparing ourselves. And let's just do another, let me do a sweep. Clear that energy, clear the mental field. Srivan is saying that's been, that the old mental body and neurological wiring has been processing through the doubts that may be arising from that mental field. Breathe into the solar plexus. Clear it. Okay. Take it all and clear it into that 0 point field. And you can do that yourself as well to your own body. Do a sweep down into the Earth star, crystalline Earth. Allow it to magnetically charge. New information to magnetically charge the crystalline Earth. And here we're going to invite in, there's only let's start with the 7 sisters from the Pleiades. Bring them all in. The 7 sisters. Ask them to surround Srivan and the other 4 are on the planet. Call in their personal guides. Align to their soul agreement. Call in the star Sirius B. Oh, that was a big one. And ground again. From Soul Star above our head to the Earth Star. Keep aligning. Call in the Antares, the brightest star from the constellation Scorpio. Align our hearts to, the high heart, okay. Align the high heart to Antares. And it's interesting because if you look at a picture of the constellation Scorpio, Antares is almost like directly at what would be considered the heart of that scorpion that represents Scorpio. We align to support. I'm going to call in now that quasar out in deep space. I'm going to do a quick energy up from the 13th chakra, which is about 12 inches below our feet. And this is a chakra that we share with the earth. I'm going to go up for a second here. So to the 12th chakra, drawing an energetic cord all the way up. So hitting the root, the sacral, the solar plexus, through the heart, the high heart, the 9th chakra, which is around the medulla oblongata, our heads, straight up to the 6th, the crown, the 10th chakra, which is also known as soul star, the 11th chakra, just above that, 14th chakra, 15th chakra, place the 15th chakra in the galaxy Andromeda. Okay, and we're actually going to access this quasar through the 14th chakra. So focusing about 3.5 feet above your head, the 14th chakra, a golden color. Okay, so Antares. So these are like two major portals. The 8th chakra, the universal heart, connects to our universe. And then the 14th chakra seems to be another portal and access to the multiverse. Okay. So through the 14th chakra, accessing that quasar, I'm going to place some cords in, liquid light cords, one vertical, one going horizontally the other way, and one that goes through so that they look like 3 equal crossbars to stabilize that. And then taking this cord from there and drop it down to your Earth star. To stabilize. Sorry for this helicopter going by. So I'm going to check in with Srivan, if that's enough. He's saying, do a kidney clearing. So from the feet, we're going to engage the meridian, the major channels that run through the kidneys. I'm just going to use my fingers as if going right through our feet. And I'm using that liquid chakra ray to go through the kidneys and accessing those acetonial lines that are connected to the kidneys, all the major channels in the kidneys. And I'm just gonna clear it into the 0-point field. Shake hands and feet. Okay. I'm also going to clear our endocrine system here for a second. The endocrine glands, which is the pineal, the pituitary, and also the hypothalamus is also a major part of that. pineal, pituitary, hypothalamus, clearing thalamus, thyroids, the parathyroid, the thymus, clear the thymus, the adrenals, pancreas, I'm also going to get then the ovaries for the females, testes for the males. Going through, I'm using that octogenarian geometry of the horizontal lines. Okay. Check in with everybody. We're ready to move on. So some are having a lot of heat in the back of their head, back of your heads. Okay. So it feels like some of you are burning off old neurological patterns. That's part of your agreement here on the planet. So if you're having intense heat in the back of your head and in that spinal column, burning off old electrical patterns is what I'm getting. Okay, Sammie's saying, let's move on. Okay, so we're going to pick up where we left off from the last time. If you remember, we put in this system from last time, and the 16th, 17th, and 18th chakra points, and this was what would be about the 19th chakra in the next harmonic universe. This is new. I know it kind of looks like a chandelier. That's what I thought, but this was what was coming in. This is a connection to the new Alpha and Omega cycle that's being placed in our universe. New Alpha and Omega. Okay. So it consists of the liquid black light and then the platinum white light. Okay. So let's take a moment. The anchors, that top part anchors around the crown. Well, one thing that I had forgotten, and we'll do it, take a second here and do it, so that we can integrate it with as much grace and ease as possible that's appropriate for your physiology and your soul agreement. Let's take a moment and at an etheric level, multiply yourself, your bodies, into the future, into the near future, so that you can integrate it piece by piece here. Because these are all new connections again. So take a moment. Feels like about 7 of these etheric bodies is right for many of you. So that feels a little easier. If you want, for a second, stomp our feet to really move this energy down. Shake your hands for a second. Move it out. This green, the green electrical cord. This green is also kind of new. This is the energy or the electrical, for lack of a better word right now, connection that's being developed. This is what I see going on in Sammie, that it's green, it's this bright green color of the new neurology, of the neurology of sentience. Okay, I'm gonna also engage these other energies. This is the lambda wave, if you remember. It's the wave of total body consciousness. And also in the root chakra, we're going to get this to the root chakra, the tau wave. So I'll put that on the next slide because the next slide has that image. And also, this is the Minikawa, which is the energy of the consciousness of the 12th dimension. It's sort of kind of is, especially around the temples, aligning. Okay. Okay. Now I'm going to move it down next. All right. I know. So then this electrical cord, the new electrical cord is going down to the center. This is like, if you look at the body, this would make like a 5-pointed star from the top of the head, the palms, the feet chakras. And from the center of the heart, I'm going to take a moment and actually align so it makes like a pentagon shape back to the center of the heart. And this tau wave I'm going to put down here. Tau is the Greek letter tau. And that's the wave of the ascended earth consciousness. Okay, let's also place that tau wave right into the medulla oblongata in there, 9th chakra. It's affecting the adrenals if you feel your adrenals getting really hot. Because these cords, these green cords, are saying, yeah, actually goes right through the adrenals as well. And the kidneys. Also going to draw in here for the 8th chakra, the high heart. This is Soul Star and Earth Star. Soul Star and Earth Star. Move that energy down again. Engage all the axonal lines. I'm going to draw in the liquid violet flame up here. The liquid violet flame also contains all the colors of the exotonial lines. So that it all flows down. Okay. Take a moment. Shake your feet and your hands to move it again. If you need to stretch for a second, stretch, because this is a lot of new connections. Okay. This is even going to go through the DNA. So take a moment and focus on the root chakra and the perineum. Or just intend to find your egg of life. The egg of life is the original 8 cells that remain there. So like the rest of our bodies, cells die off and are regenerated, but the original 8 cells remain there. So think of each side of this as like one side here being from our fathers and the other side, let's say here, being from our mother. Right? They come in and join together. This platinum liquid cord is being inserted through all the DNA in the egg of life, in the nucleus, and also the mitochondrial DNA. And interesting that the mitochondrial DNA is passed on from the mother. We'd engage all of them. And that platinum liquid light cord or space is there so that when the 1010 portal opens and we get that stream from Prime Creator, it's like igniting the egg of life to be reset with Prime Creator. In order to bring more support for this, I'm going to activate a couple of symbols. Mabala. Mabala is from the archangel Jezebel. I know it sounds like Jezebel, but her name is intentionally Jezebel to transmute the suppression of women, the beliefs of that's been implanted about women, or the female aspect. And the female aspect and the feminine, or the feminine that exists in all of us, whether you're male or female. And now Nehemiah, which comes from Archangel Neathilus, which would kind of represent the father, and that symbol actually looks like the egg of life, resembles the egg of life. And you can see that on our website if you're wanting to see it. Checking in. So also going to engage this symbol, spiritual alchemical law of genetic consciousness. You might have felt it activate right in that root area or the tailbone. That's where I felt it just now. And I'm going to just activate it in our entire field. It's also derived from the law of one symbol. Okay, just giving everybody a minute here. Process that. Again, reiterating this etheric bodies. Going to engage Roganadra, a cosmic unicorn, and holds the field of our rainbow meridian system. So our greater field, that is our aura, that is our emanation from every dimensional level that we express in this form. Bringing that all into balance and alignment with this rainbow meridian system. And also Minerva has just engaged the other unicorn. Our horn represents the 12th dimensional spiral nature of time. This is abacus. It's one of Sammie's symbols. Interesting that she wanted to be called abacus. I believe abacus is one of those counting mechanisms from ancient times. Abacus actually activates the new flower of life. Actually, it's not a new flower of life. What we've been shown is that it's actually the original flower of life that we were supposed to manifest our bodies from. So we've been manifesting from a 10 tree grid, and it should have been a 12 tree grid. So this is going to engage the ego, the flower of life, the original flower of life. So let's take a moment and through the 14th chakra again, through the 14th chakra, I'm going to activate abacus. And it's more powerful for me when I draw it out. And so this takes us through a couple of different portals in the 14th chakra that then we are able to gain access to the original flower of life from Prime Creator. So Srivan is actually now drawing a cord to get ready to Prime Creator. So this engages the flower of life. And again, I emphasize that allow your soul beingness to be in charge of when it will fully activate. And it could be a couple of years now what we were told is that if you activate the original flower of life too early, you'll run into physical issues. So allow it to engage at the pace that your soul knows is right for you. So Srivan has drawn a cord in preparation to receive the activation or the engagement from Prime Creator in that portal. Okay. I'm going to allow this symbol abacus to move down through each of our chakras so that it won't feel so heavy above, and into the Earth Star. I'm also going to activate it in the 13th chakra in the center of the Earth. This then informs Gaia and the elemental and Devic kingdom that we are preparing to make the adjustments according to our soul consciousness. Also engaging the cosmic Farians, which are the divas of what we might consider dark energy. Just checking in. Okay. Okay. So I'm being reminded also, I'm going to engage a pattern that's called the fruit of life. That's within it comes out of the entire flower of life. So almost like a floppy disk going down through the center from the top of your head and down through your center. This is the fruit of life, made of the black liquid light. Now also a gold colored one. Fruit of life. And a white liquid plasma one. And some of you may be aware that those were engaged in some of your future bodies, so that it's like walking into it and checking in, see how everyone's doing. Checking in with the kids. Okay. So if you remember this one, this is spirit and matter. The Iwa Nu A. Iwa Nu A. And you might say it to yourself as well, just to get that vibration from the throat, that sound vibration. Let it ring through your body. Iwanua. Iwanua. How's everyone feeling? Do this one symbol here. Bridge the two. Also, this Pleiadian dragon, their name is Silvanega. Down the center. Okay, I think it feels like it's a little easier for some people now. Okay, this is that's what I call it. It's the spiral cord from Mary Magdalene. It's copper energy. I draw it right down the center. From soul star to your earth star. So, the balancing shield from last time. It's for protection. The symbol, if you remember, is the symbol is like encompasses the entire 19-dimensional system. So like the 19th chakra is about up there. Should be kind of bluish. Right now. So this is 19. And a golden cord so that it runs down, are aligned by the liquid violet flame, vertical, horizontal. Let's also do diagonal. Okay, this feels complete. So I invite you to return back to your space if you have drifted. Shake your hands and feet. Do another chord again. Liquid chakra chord from 15th chakra all the way down to the Earth Star. And a little thank you from Srivan. He says, thank you for joining us today from the collective consciousness of our group field, which is known as the autism spectrum. We were called to be of service here. This is a difficult time for many of us and many of you, if we are being aggressive at times, emotional and anxious, please remember that much of this is because of the intense transition phase that we are in. We thank you for that work that you are doing for us. It's on behalf of all of us so that we may experience a new way of creating in this next Alpha and Omega cycle. We do this not just for humanity, but also for ourselves, because please remember that we are all part of that formless one. There is no separation in that. You saw what you might consider the creation of Prime Creator and the monad, the spirit. But remember that even in these epochs of creation, we are connected to the one. So to Creator, there is no such a concept of only self-sacrificing, because it is all done for the one. And Spirit, or the formless one, in its infinite capacity and its infinite calculus, holds nothing back. With this connection now to Prime Creator and the formless one, all information becomes available. This is love in action, when all is shared with nothing held back. So we honor you and we thank you. And have the kids seal the close of this session and the energetic imprint that was manifested today. Let's release ourselves from this process. And may you each go on with your day and this month. And my prayers and intentions is that the 10-10-10 will be integrated with as much grace and ease for all of you, and especially our Awesomism kids and the 5 who are doing a tremendous, tremendous task here. So I thank you, and we will see you again next month.